Why is the person Coach Corn? And then we'll hit go bring the mic to Christina. Cool. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. So yeah, the perspective, I love this. Like when the room first started, it was really heavy on how we're receiving criticism, and now we've kind of flipped to the other side, and it's been really heavy on giving criticism. So I'm going to kind of give a perspective here on both with the same situation, and hopefully that will speak to someone. So it's giving and receiving. So, keeping the conversation or that criticism, or really what Tony said, it's feedback, right? Keeping that on the situation. It's not about the individual. If you're giving feedback about the situation and it's not about the person, that's where you're going to, start getting something done there and actually provide value. But also, if you're giving it on the situation to somebody, what if you're receiving it from someone? Amanda talked about the filter. So one of the things that spoke to me while we were listening to this is, how do we filter it when we're receiving, right, feedback? Is it on the situation, or because that person who's giving you this feedback at the very moment wasn't in this room today, it might feel like it's about you. So what is that filter? And it's that E plus R equals O. An event's happening. I'm getting feedback. How am I receiving it? Is it about me, or am I listening to it through a filter of the situation that happened? And just how you do the R right there is going to determine the outcome, if you're going to be offended by it or you're listening to it with the genius words of Lee. I mean, if you guys didn't hear $1 million idea drop on the table, I think you might have missed it. Behind every complaint is the next problem that can be solved, that's going to be worth everybody having a better life or whatever, right? That's what I heard. Anyway, so how you filter that and how you receive it, if it's about the situation, you might actually get a different result out of that than if you take it personally. And then Bridget was just kind of talking about the shit sandwich. That was awesome, by the way. Coming to timing, giving it when it can be a teaching moment. So you would have respect if you're giving feedback. And, as a coach, you want it to be a teaching moment. And I don't remember who was talking about earlier, just that, they have to want to receive it. Or a lot of times we're giving feedback or criticism, or feedback really, and talking somebody through it to help them self-discover it. So that's one thing, is, can you make it a teaching moment? And what I like to do is have them speak the sandwich. Have them, what did you do right here? Okay, what could you have done differently? And have them self-discover what they might have done. Is there anything you would have done a little different? Something like that. And then the second part of that is pick the battles too. So sometimes we might be criticizing or feedbacking on something when it's really irrelevant. There's not going to be a major teaching moment there. We just wanted to bitch a little bit, right? So start there, and the way I would ask that question, and this just kind of hit me, is my on a scale of 1 to 10 question is probably one of the best coaching questions I can ever ask. If you want to give somebody feedback and you're not sure if they're going to receive it well and learn from it, and you really do care about them and you want them to hear something and change something, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have the opportunity to put it in this frame, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I should never, ever, ever do that again. It was the worst thing ever, whatever it was, right? That's the worst situation you can possibly imagine. And 10 was, oh my gosh, it was so far off the chart, and this was the most amazing thing ever, and it's changed your life. Where would you put this situation at? Right? And a lot of times when somebody's real about things, we're usually around a 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you get to turn that into a teaching moment. Say, what would you do to make it a 6 or a 7, like 1 or 2 notches more? So I use the 1 to 10 question a lot, because here's the thing I'll leave you with. Here's the best question if you want to give feedback. On a scale of 1 to 10, somebody says, hey, what do you think of that? Right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being telling you what you want to hear, and 10 being totally honest, brutally honest with you, where do you want me? And they almost always say, I'll take it at an 8. Okay, cool. And if they say a 6, okay, I mean, it just puts you into perspective on how much feedback you can go here. And maybe that's again where you flip it around and turn it into a teaching moment. So that's my share for this morning.
Ooh, and that was a very powerful share. Thank you, Brad. That was awesome. I'm moving them.